Moments ago, the Pentagon held a briefing on that deadly ambush in Niger, Africa, in which 4 American soldiers were killed just 15 days ago. Pentagon officials pushing back on any notion that Sergeant LaDavid Johnson had been left behind. They insisted a major search and rescue mission was launched. CNN's chief national security correspondent Jim Sciutto joins me now. And Jim, I know officials at the Pentagon were asked about when was the White House notified about the mission, about the fact that the mission had gone bad. What did they have to say? Well,
they didn't give a clear answer to that question, just as they did not provide clarity of the circumstances, whether you call it left behind or not. The fact that it took 48 hours to locate and find the body of that 4th service member killed in that attack. This is, as we're hearing, that the Secretary of Defense himself not satisfied with the answers he's getting from inside the military regarding this ambush.
Tonight, the head of the U.S. military is demanding answers on the deadliest U.S. combat mission of the Trump administration.
The loss of our troops is under investigation. We in the Department of Defense like to know what we're talking about before we talk. And so we do not have all the accurate information yet. We will release it as rapidly as we get it.
2 weeks after the ambush, Defense Secretary James Mattis, officials say, is discouraged by the lack of information he's received from his own people on the ISIS attack in Niger that killed 4 U.S. soldiers and injured 2 more. The 12-member U.S. Army team was meeting villagers in a town on the Niger-Mali border. They were walking back to their vehicles, which were not armored, when up to 50 ISIS-affiliated fighters attacked them with machine guns and rocket-propelled grenades. The Americans fought back, but were only armed with light weapons, such as rifles.
There had been more than, or nearly 30 trips along this route already. So they had reason to believe that they were in a permissive environment.
After 30 minutes, French aircraft flew by to try to disperse the attackers from the air and later to evacuate the wounded. The U.S. had to rely on a private contractor to airlift out the dead. In the chaos, Sergeant LaDavid Johnson was separated from the rest of the team and left behind. Commanders launched a large, joint U.S., Nigerian, and French search and rescue operation. 48 hours later, Nigerian troops recovered his body. Today, Secretary Mattis attempted to answer hard questions about what went wrong. For one, why the military's own intelligence assessed it was unlikely the team would run into enemy forces.
This specific case, contact was considered unlikely, but there's a reason we have U.S. Army soldiers there and not the Peace Corps, because we carry guns. And so it's a reality. It's part of the danger that our troops face in these counter-terrorist campaigns. But remember, we do these kinds of missions by, with, and through allies. It is often dangerous.
And as the families grieve, another question. Why was a U.S. soldier left behind on the battlefield?
The U.S. military does not leave its troops behind, and I would just ask that you not question the actions of the troops who were caught in the firefight and question whether or not they did everything they could in order to bring everyone out at once.
Chief of Staff John Kelly was asked another hard question, which is a simple one. Why are U.S. forces in Niger? What are they fighting for? And his answer was this, that this is an advise and assist mission. And Jakey said that small numbers of U.S. service members go there to Niger to fight ISIS so that, in his words, U.S. service members, soldiers, and Marines don't have to go there in the thousands. We know that's a formula that both the Obama and Trump administration has used. Sometimes it's worked, but other times it hasn't. And look at Afghanistan now. That's why you have more U.S. troops going there, because a small presence has not been able to fight back the enemy.
First sent to Niger under the Obama administration. Jim Sciutto, thank you so much. We have